All right, guys, when it comes to what's going on in politics today, it's Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you that are cooking already. Even though Congress has a heavy load coming up this December. So we're going to take a look at the schedule for Congress during the month of December, because a lot of individuals only know a part of the story, and we're going to give you the whole story here on Mostly Money. Well, my name is Andre. You're watching Mostly Money, where you're going to get all facts, no fake, no phony, and no fluffed up information when it comes to what is going on in politics today. And if you're interested in getting the truth on a daily basis, well, you made it to the right channel. All you need to do for yourself is one thing: subscribe. Click that notification bell so you can get the latest and greatest information coming from Mostly Money, because we're going to always be here for you and your loved ones. Let's get started. Yes, let's take time out to look at the congressional calendar and see what's going to be going on that's so important during the month of December. Now, if we take a look right here with the Committee for the Responsible Federal Budget, we get a chance to see what Congress is going to be working on over the next few weeks, especially in December. Now, starting on December 3rd, we all know that the federal budget needs to be approved. It is the annual budget, which was funded by the government for the rest of fiscal year 2021, which was signed into law last December. Remember last year when Bernie Sanders fought for us to get the extra $200 or the extra $600 stimulus checks? That was during that time period of the federal budget. Remember that? Well, it's come back around in September, and they pushed it off from September 30th to December 3rd. So they have that to work on in regards to the month of December. The next thing that they have is also on December 3rd, and these are major things that actually have major voting and major debates that need to take place. It's amazing that they have all this scheduled for the same day. In other words, the federal budget by itself could take all day to pass, especially with them just coming back from vacation. But we also have on the same day the debt ceiling. Remember with Mitch McConnell a couple months back in October that they passed a $480 billion debt limit. In other words, enough money that would take care of the federal government all the way up until December, or they said that money should run out around December 3rd. Now they realize we're going to have to go ahead and do something about this debt ceiling, because this could have not just what the federal budget would have as far as shutting down the country, as far as federal workers not getting their money, but this debt ceiling could have global impact, especially during this holiday season. And at the same time, for those of you that are on Social Security, that federal funding might not impact you, but that debt ceiling could shut everything down. And so those of you that receive Social Security checks, you can be impacted by the debt ceiling, even though you may not be impacted by the funding of the government if it shuts down. Now, we also have the flood insurance coming up on December 3rd in regards to those that have gone through the hurricane seasons, still receiving all that they need from this past summer. So that's going on December 3rd. December 3rd also says the temporary assistance for needy families and child care entitlement to states that were extended to roughly 2 months. So that's taking place as well, December 3rd. Now, let's look at December 31st. This is just as important. The COVID relief funds for states and locations. So this is all the money that through the CARES Act. Remember, this was, in other words, the CARES Act was by way of President Trump. This was the one that passed right around February, March. The CARES Act created $150 billion in COVID relief funds for states and local government, tribes, and territories. We're not just talking about the rent relief and all that money that came from the Biden stimulus plan, his first plan, but we're just talking about the last one that President Trump did. And the states and local governments must spend or lose. I'm going to repeat that. If your state does not get that money out to you in rent relief. I know a lot of you have filed your applications. You still haven't heard back. If your state does not get that money out to you by December 31st, you won't be getting any rent relief money because they have to send that money back to the federal government. As we talked about last week, over 83% of the stimulus money that you're supposed to be receiving from the states have yet to get to you, and they only have 1 month to get 83% over to you, or they have to send that money back to the federal government. Also, that's going on December 31st. Now, we're seeing that the month or the day of December 31st is going to be filled for Congress. An August executive order allowed employers to defer paying employees portion of Social Security tax for September. Remember when President Trump did that? When they kind of deferred, he wanted individuals to be able to make more money on their paycheck. Remember that? So they kind of froze you having to pay your Social Security. A lot of people forget about that. And so you received more on your paycheck. Well, that's going to come to an end on December 31st. Also on December 31st, affected employers can receive a refund payroll tax credit for up to $10,000 of wages per employee. Also out there regarding the PPP loans, once again, if all is not done by the 31st, the federal government shuts all these programs down that has to do with stimulus. Also, the extension of the child tax credit. Now, they are talking about doing this, extending another year in the president's Build Back Better plan. But as for now, the American Rescue Plan enacted in March temporarily increased the tax credit to $3,000. And we all know that families have been receiving it in increments of $250 to $300 a month, and they're going to receive a big lump sum. Well, these enhancements expire at the end of this year, and all the way through tax extensions, emergency injury disaster loans, advanced grants, that's going to be impacted. So there's a lot that's going to be impacted on December 31st. But what we want to do is give you guys an update on what's coming up during the month of December and some of the things that we're going to be talking about here on Mostly Money. So I hope that information was helpful to you all. We're going to continue to talk about this as time progresses, especially as we're closer to December, and continue on afterwards. We want to make sure that you have the correct information on what's going on in government today. Well, my name is Andre, and you're watching Mostly Money. Happy Thanksgiving again. And I am here to give you all facts, no fake, no phony, and no fluffed up information when it comes to what's going on in politics today. And if you're interested in getting the truth on a daily basis, well, you've made it to the right channel. All you need to do for yourself now is just this simple thing. Subscribe. Click that bell notification so you get the latest and greatest information coming from Mostly Money. We're going to always be here for you and your loved ones. I'm going to the comments section. Maybe you guys can tell me what you cooked. I'd be cooking my macaroni. And if I don't get a chance to speak to you and you don't get a chance to speak to me, we are not going to fret about it because we got football to watch. And I'll be speaking to you again, mañana.